We had one emotional roller coaster of a week. All I can say is JT finally got what was coming to him. Stay tuned for this week's Restless Wrap.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everyone, I'm Rachel Goodman. We have one heck of a show today. We have a surprise guest. You guys might remember him. Everyone in the chat who's back, who's a recurring co-host that we have every week. We have James Lott Jr.
It's me, you guys. I'm back. So don't just your TV set. I am really here. I'm not illusion. I'm here joining Rachel. So hi, Rachel.
Hi. And you picked a really amazing week to join.
Oh no, yes I did.
Oh my God, yeah.
So I'm happy to be here, you guys.
Yeah, I'm happy you're here because I can talk to somebody about this instead of go crazy with all these emotional things they did to us this week.
Oh my goodness, they put us through the roller coaster. It's gonna be really good. It's a really good week.
It's a good week, but before we get to that, we should probably touch on all the other little things on the show because otherwise we're probably gonna spend the whole show talking about JT and Victoria and that whole last episode.
Yes,
so let's start with Victor, and this kind of does tie in, yeah, but everything with Victor. So first of all, before we even get to the Hawaii scene and Victoria, everything with Victor, how do you feel about what's going on with Victor right now? Do you feel like he's gonna pull through?
Well, it's just funny. So in real life, he just had a birthday. Eric Braden, he's actually a friend of mine. So I was talking to him a little bit, and so I'm just happy to see him. He got a little break being, in a coma, so, laying there and doing anything. But now he's really having to really act because you can't talk.
And that's what I found about the whole thing was that when he woke up, the way that his eyes looked, it was realistic as anything.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yes, it was I agree with you completely. Very realistic. I know, oh my God, it is me, you guys, it's me. They're all saying in the chat room. I love you guys. But no, I agree with you. His acting was so, did he really get knocked out? I mean, was he really in a coma? He's having to act with his eyes, and he's kind of grunting a little bit. So, of course, it's classic soap.
Yeah.
And so you can't say anything yet.
But here's the thing, too, is that it can be, I've seen some people on the show overact, and I'm not going to say names right now.
Shady Sunday, Shady Sunday. Yes.
But with him, it's like when we saw him crying, it was real tears. I was like, holy crap.
Yes.
No, listen to him. As he's pointing his finger, he goes, JT.
Right, JT. He spelled out JT. It was so soapy. I loved it. I was like, yes, it was so good. But you're right. He's really not overacting at all. He's a pro, and he's really showing us a person who can't communicate with his voice.
Yeah.
He's communicating with everything else.
Yeah, and he's trying so hard, and you can see the struggle in his eyes. You can see even the way he kept looking back and forth between Nikki, like he was trying to give her eye signals.
I know, she's looking excited. And it's funny how they were like, yeah, JT, he's with Victoria. They're like, he's like, no, that's not it. I'm going to tell you what he did to me.
Like, he's like,
Nikki and I were like, yeah, I know exactly. Nikki and I were like, no. It's like, I'm trying to tell you something.
I can only imagine, though, when he's able to talk.
Yes.
First of all, JT did not look pleased when they said 1 to 2 days. He was like, oh, shoot, I got to get out of town.
That's very true. Very true.
So we have everything going on with Victor.
Yes.
We also have things going on with Kyle.
Well, I just got to tell you, because I haven't been on the show. I watch your show and I haven't been on the show.
Yeah.
The whole thing that Jackson and Abbott, which means Kyle isn't one either.
She was this close to telling me.
I know. I was like, because that's a real plot point. But we're watching Kyle bulldoze his way through the company, but also how he's kind of bulldozing his way into Dina. It's a little disturbing, but some of you folks out there, this is Shady Sunday. Some of you folks out there don't like the actor. I like him. I think he's kind of cute. I think he's fine. I don't think he's a bad actor. I think he's good.
I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
I think that my problem is I don't like his character. But for some reason, I like him with Mariah. For some weird reason.
What about Hillary? When him and Hillary had that play.
That was good too, and I think they would be perfect for each other. Especially, not to kind of change subjects already, but especially after what's happening now with Hillary and Devon.
Yes.
She is starting to piss me off again. Again. And she doesn't even, well, let's get back to Kyle for a
second. But Kyle is a spoiled brat. Like somebody said, Kyle is a spoiled brat. That's it is. And he's angry at Jack, but then he's like, I know him and Victor had a relationship too. It's almost kind of payback because Jack was close to Nick at one time, and with Adam. So it's kind of like they go. It's just a continuation of the feud of the mustache and Jack.
And it almost feels like the way they're setting it up is that Kyle's going to take the company public, so that Victor can swoop in and get it, and they're going to play it off just so that Victor comes in at the right time to do it.
Yes.
But here's the thing: I'm curious how long it's going to take Victor to recover, and what exactly Kyle has planned, because it feels like it's beyond what we even know at this point.
We probably don't, and you probably don't know everything. But I love when Young and Restless does boardroom drama. They do it really well. So I love that seeing all these pieces, and Abby's part of that, and Ashley's part of that, and even Lauren is part of that. And all like, you go public, it helps me out. Sorry, Phyllis, like it works for me.
And Phyllis, I'm the one who pays you. So now Phyllis, when Jack gets out of jail, he's going to find out that Phyllis did this, and it's going to make her look bad when the reality was Lauren or put her in a tight spot.
Right, she did.
Yeah.
But Lauren made sense. She wants her company back fully. I can't work for another company. I thought I could.
Yeah.
So Kyle is setting all these things in motion. He's kind of like this mastermind at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's weird because he's kind of nowhere. Like all of a sudden, here he is.
Yeah.
I'm back on the show, and he's making all this stuff happen.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think he's a really good actor. When I see him in those scenes where he's this mastermind, where he's manipulating everything, I do not like him at all. And I actually, for once, it was kind of interesting too, because we see that Kyle is actually bringing Ashley and Jack back together because she's always going to side with Jack over this guy.
No matter what happens,
always. So, and the other thing, that will be jumping ahead. Yeah. We have another Ashley scene we can talk about later with Victoria, but just Ashley in general, I have to say I really like her, even though she does things that make me a little irritated. Like, I definitely sided with Jack in the whole situation with them, but I just think that she, generally as a character, I like her.
Oh yeah, and Eileen Davidson's beautiful. Oh my God, she's so beautiful, and she's up for an Emmy coming up in a couple weeks. She's up for an Emmy
awesome.
For this role because
okay.
I think she has 2 shows. Oh no, maybe it's up for Days of Our Lives. I can't remember which one it's for, but she's such a great actress on 2 soaps. That's amazing when she can carry both storylines on each one, and she's so good. She's good with everybody. I mean, she's a pro.
Yeah.
She's good with Nikki. She's good with Abby. She's good with everybody. I mean, even with Kyle, when she's like Aunt Ashley, and she's like kind of looking him over, and she's like, I'm a little older than you are. I've been around a while. I don't believe everything you're saying.
And that's the thing. She carries this poise about her. And it doesn't matter who she's sparring with. Right. She always brings a slightly different flavor to it.
Oh, my God. And poor thing. She's the maid in Dina's eyes. That's hilarious.
And
in a sad way, but it's hilarious.
Dina's so mean to her, too.
I know she is. She's like, nobody talks to her like that. You pick up the plates and clean this place up. And just like, I'm like, that's so funny that she's the name of Ashley. I mean, it's a sad storyline of the whole Alzheimer's. But just kind of like, that's a funny point that she thinks she's the maid.
Yeah.
But Kyle, I like Kyle. And I'm excited to see what Kyle does and what's going to continue to happen. Because everybody, it's an umbrella story. I love umbrella stories.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm excited even though we're now getting to the point where we know that, we knew it wasn't Jack, but now everyone in Genoa City is figuring out it wasn't Jack. Finally.
Yes, finally.
No thanks to Paul.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
the most brilliant, detective out there.
Oh my
Paul.
God, don't even get started on that. I love Doug Davidson. He's the best. But just like, oh my God.
When is he going to figure something out?
I know.
So,
yes.
They're finally getting to the place where they know it's not Jack. Yeah. But I'm curious what's going to happen once Jack actually gets out of jail and he starts. First of all, I wonder how. I have a feeling that Kyle's going to make it so that Jack just can't walk in and get his spot back.
I mean, again, this power play is going to be so interesting because now will Ashley or Abby reveal that they're not Abbotts?
I think they should at this point. I think that's the only chance.
So who's that? So that means Billy.
Billy
is an Abbott.
Tracy, right?
Tracy.
Yeah. Now, here's the other question. When Ashley was having the problem with Jack actually said, "All right, I will, appeal that clause."
The clause.
Did he do that? Because they never showed him doing it.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was talking about it, but we'll see.
That's true.
So before we get into the meat of this conversation, which I think everyone's probably waiting for.
That was the potatoes. Here's time for the meat.
Let's just quickly talk about Devon and Hillary. We were starting to get into it a little bit. What do you think? First of all, do you think that she's going to end up being pregnant?
I don't know, because every day, I go back and forth, like, are they going to make her pregnant by Devon? Then I'm like, maybe they won't. Maybe she'll get pregnant by somebody else. Maybe she'll have an affair with somebody else and get pregnant by somebody else. And I'm like, what if her and Kyle continue to mess around or start to mess around. Would that be interesting if she got pregnant by him by accident?
Because they seemed like they were compatible.
Yeah, well, we know she likes Jack. That's the whole thing. So I mean, Jack would be pissed. That'd be a whole other story too. But yeah, I feel like it's gonna be straightforward, but then I'm like, maybe not. Maybe I mean they're keeping me guessing. Actually, which is surprising because most soap things we can usually figure it out because we're soap watchers. I can't figure this one out.
Yeah, I keep feeling like she's obviously trying to get back with Devon really hard, really obnoxiously. My problem with that whole thing is that she's just, I want to like Hillary at this point, but then she does things like, I understood everything with Simone, because Simone, here's the thing that Devon wasn't understanding. Simone was being very catty too.
Yes.
And Devon did not see that side of her. So my thought is, if Devon keeps dating Simone, he's going to probably find the same thing with her, that she's, catty. So I just don't think that, I don't know.
I don't know either. But I actually don't have a specific answer. Because I'm like every day I think, well, it's going to go this way. Well, maybe it's not going that way. I'm actually surprised. I'll be waiting to be curious to see what happens.
Yeah.
If she does get pregnant, and by whom?
And by whom? Yeah, exactly. Because the other thing is, if she does end up with Kyle, I feel like that's going to bring out more of her manipulative side.
Yes.
And that she's going to end up going back down that dark path. Because she was trying, around Christmas, she started to kind of be a better version of herself. Yeah. And I don't know, we'll see if that sticks, because I feel like she's too tempted.
I like her kind of bad girl. We need bad girls. And and actually a bad girl with some heart does work. Like a Phyllis and that kind of stuff. It does work. So maybe she can... Gloria was a bad girl too, but she has heart. There are a lot of bad girls. Back in the day, Tracy was kind of a bad. There are all these bad girls that are happening back then. So it's kind of like, if they can make her have some heart, but keep her kind of bad, I'll go with it. She does it really well. The actress is really good.
Yeah.
Michelle, she's really good.
Yeah, she is really good.
Yeah, she's good.
And I can kind of, I don't know, there are times I feel bad for her too.
Right.
So it's just, she's kind of a gray area character.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So why don't we kind of segue here into JT? Before we do that,
we have something we want to share with you guys, because in order to put on these shows for you every Sunday, the whole soap block, we have a wonderful, one of our leaders of this studio, Maria Menounos. She has her own podcast, and it's called Conversations with Maria, Podcast Edition, and it drops every Friday. It's on iTunes, and her show is so good because she talks to everybody. Celebrities, of course, because she knows a lot of celebrities, influencers. They talk about things about life, tips. You walk away with some tips, health and wellness, career, financial. One week she did a whole thing on pet care, where she talked to pet doctors and shelters, and because that's a big passion of hers is dogs and cats and stuff like that. So it's a great show, and for some of you guys, because I'm a little older, she could be the big sister to you. For me, a little sister for me. But she has it's a show. It's so good. You should listen to it. It's every Friday. Conversations with Maria on iTunes. So go there, rate, comment, subscribe, and let her know that Restless Rap sent you there. Awesome. Like, seriously, say that we sent you there in the comments, and let her know that, and support our founders so we can continue keeping these doors open. So it'll be great.
Awesome. Well,
good show.
Yeah. So speaking of support, it is time to get into JT and Victoria and everything that encompassed that whole supportive girls' night. Yes. But first, before we do that, we have a fan picture that we got a couple of weeks ago from Tiffany. Let's go ahead and get that up there. So, what truly needs to happen next week on YNR? # death to JT. And if anyone is just listening to this on iTunes, it's basically a picture of a big bus heading right for our one and only JT.
Aww, I know, poor thing. Aww.
He doesn't even know what's about to hit him.
Exactly.
But
it reminds me of Final Destination. If you saw the first one, it's a scene where this girl's like, I'm going to not live in fear, and the bus hits her, and it's like a total, when you see the movie, it just makes you jump.
Oh my God.
I kind of remember that. It reminds me of that a little bit. It's like, he's not even looking. He's like, there's no dead bus is coming. And it's a blue bus. In LA, that's the Santa Monica bus line. The big blue bus. They call it the blue bus. I love that. So it's kind of funny. Yeah,
that is very interesting. And actually, speaking of Tiffany, too, we have a comment from her.
Okay.
Tiffany is always posting in our @RestlessRap Facebook page. So if anyone hasn't already gone over there, go ahead and like and follow. Yes. And if you have any thoughts on the week's show, anything at all, if you post it there, I will read it on the show. So if you want to get your name shouted out, then, by all means, post on that.
Yes.
Tiffany says, Something that to really appreciate with a show like Y&R, where there are so many storylines that go on at once. When they take the time to focus on only one story for an episode, it definitely says a lot about the writers and how they want to handle it with genuine respect for those who are going through it or having to go through it. So that's very well said.
Yes.
We were actually just saying that too, because
Yes.
Y&R basically, now that we're going to get into this, they spent a whole entire episode on this whole situation with JT and Victoria. It had me in tears. We were saying that before the show. And I guess we should just kind of get started by saying, well, first of all, what did you think when JT wanted to leave town? What did you think about that whole scene in Hawaii, especially with the cell phones?
It was creepy, and I know I have been through a situation where I was abused, so I do know control. And fighting, because it's all about control. It's all about control and ego and all that stuff. And when he was like, just hide the cell phones, just lock them up, I was like, there's something going on there, because it's not just a simple trip of like, just relax and have a good time. And when she discovers, when his phone goes off, when she discovers he had his phone.
Yeah. And
when he gets her, the tension was so high watching it. It was so tense. Like, is he gonna beat her there? But the kids are down at the beach. Like, what's going to happen?
I was worried he was going to... Well, first of all, it was really messed up that he locked the phones in there. Not just said, okay, let's put them in the drawer.
Right.
Locked them in.
He did.
And then had his own phone. And then on top of that, just everything that was happening, I really thought that he was going to at least, I thought something physical was going to happen.
Me too. I was nervous. I was like, I'm watching it. I was nervous for it. The tension was like, I needed a drink.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 11:30 in the morning. I was watching it live. And I need a drink.
It was crazy. Yeah. It was crazy. And, oh, sorry.
It was very tense filled, like in real life, where you don't know. And like I said, for the situation I went through, did not know. And she describes it later perfectly. We'll talk about that in a second. How you don't know how the person's going to react to you.
Yeah.
So now you're feeling trapped. Ironically, you're in paradise. Isn't that funny? That's the ironic. Great job, writers. Ironically, in paradise, and you're being held captive, so to speak. This guy's like, let's leave our families. Let's do all this. I mean, it's just like what?
And they even had the calm ocean.
Yeah.
music
Yeah. It was a great. I got it. I totally got what they were trying to. The irony.
And the whole thing too is that it went from just like that. It went from being this peaceful family vacation to this tense, terrifying situation where she probably didn't even know, because you don't know. She knows what he's capable of.
Yes.
She probably knew what he could have done to her. She was probably scared, and for her to stand up to him finally, I didn't think she was like. I felt so bad for her. I didn't know she was going to be able to do it.
Yeah,
and I was just so happy she finally said, "Nope, we're done," and then took the kids and went back to Genoa City.
What happens sometimes is, and I hate to sound like this is a storyline that's really good for real life, and I've talked to people about this. It's good because at some points, for some of us, something does click. I always think it's a click.
Yeah.
And for some of us, the click happens. You're like, okay, I'm done. I'm done dealing with this. For some people, it never happens, and it ends in really bad tragedy.
Yeah.
But for some, and Victoria, she's a Newman. That's why I love that. She's a Newman. So it's something like, okay, wait a minute. I'm this smart, wonderful, strong woman. I'm letting this guy do this to me. She was like, this is not working for me anymore.
Yeah. Well, and the whole thing is, too, she even says later on, you don't even understand what it's like until you've gone through it. And so you see on the news all these women who have gone through these things. And when you have not experienced it yet, you think to yourself, oh, well, poor thing. Why would she let that happen?
Well, are we going to talk about the ladies' night now? I guess we'll talk about that.
We can move into that,
Because you're bringing up a point that's so good. The writer, I just want to give kudos to the writers.
Yeah.
The writing was so well done. It was so spot on.
It was realistic.
It was very realistic when she was explaining herself. And even everyone's different reactions.
Yeah.
Phyllis, like, some people would say, well, why did you get out of there? Why did you kick him in the balls? Like, and she had an explanation. It's not that simple.
It's not at all. Yeah, and the thing is, for her, she's with this man she loves. When the moments, I think she even says this at one point, when the moments were good, they were beyond good. It was like this amazing relationship, because abusers, they know that if they don't keep you happy some of the time, you're going to kick them out. So they have to keep you happy. They have to keep you thinking that you're in a good relationship.
Very true.
So that when it's in a bad moment, they know that they can get you right back.
And they say things to you, which is funny. He did it to her. He was saying, well, you're because you came from money, and because and they use this stuff against you. They twist it against you, so you start going, wow. They're kind of right, or I do need him, and it's weird because I remember having those moments where things were being turned against me. Good points about myself were being turned against me.
Yeah.
And suddenly there were bad points. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
And so her describing that and saying, "Well, I love him," And people think it's a weak thing, but it's not weak. It's like she did love. The feelings were complicated.
Yeah.
They were together before. They had a kid. There's something complicated about that. And I just thought that was so. And the fact that Nikki was there on one side, and then Sharon came over. Phyllis was kind of pacing back and forth, like angry and going to do something. It was so. At first, I thought the ladies' night was so awkward at first, and I think it was meant to be awkward because all their histories and everything.
Yeah.
But when they came together, it was like
beautiful.
yes, it was beautiful. And you're right. And I cried a little bit. And again, the acting. And I will give Amelia Henley. Her acting is. And was phenomenal.
That's the thing. This whole storyline with her, every time she cried, I felt it. It wasn't like I hate to say this, but there have been other
Shady Sunday. I love it.
Oh my God, Victor! I'm sorry,
yes.
But here's the thing: is that with Victoria, every time she went through this with JT. It was so relatable. It was so real. They couldn't have done a better job with this.
I agree.
On
and
any
also,
show. Like, this will live with me forever.
Oh, yeah. And this is a controversial storyline. People are really talking about it. And what's funny is, in real life, of course, the actors who played JT were married.
And divorced.
Thad, they were married. Thad, Lucky Bill, they were married, divorced. And so their acting, his acting is really good, too. I mean, he's playing this guy who's abusive, but like I see his side of things in some weird way. I see where he's coming from. He's damaged.
Yeah.
And it's been 45 years show's been on. To bring up the Colleen storyline was very interesting too.
Well, I had heard too that Victor didn't even kill her.
No, but he has her hearts, of course.
Yeah, and that it wasn't him directly.
No, it wasn't him directly.
It was more like she was dying or died, and he used her heart.
Yes, exactly. So it's kind of his mind's a little twisted, but he's missing Colleen. And he's like it's the overlining thing, and I think that would fuel somebody to be a little crazy, I guess, and things. And he had some bad luck, so I was feeling for him a little bit. But it just means the writing and the acting was so good all around with that. But yeah, so I did like the writing and her explaining to the ladies, this is what went down. Of course, poor Mariah passing out in the back.
That was hilarious.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But I like the fact that it was a real conversation.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
And it needs to be said right now, too, especially right now.
Yes.
And that's the important thing is that this, to show it this realistically and to show not only that, but usually when I see storylines like this, you don't see it with the different perspectives. Like having Phyllis say, well, how could you let that happen? And treating, not that Phyllis was wrong, it's just that she just didn't understand because some people fortunately have not been through that kind of ordeal and they just don't understand the way someone who's been in it. And so I love that they had that because it shows people that may have not experienced it what it's actually like because it can put you as best as it can put you into someone's head who has been a victim of that.
I agree with you. I think what the great thing was they had everyone represented so that Nikki was clearly the mother. So she was like, she's reacting as a mother would.
Yeah.
And when she started crying, I think I started crying when she started crying. And Sharon was being from the kind of now she's going for her therapy stuff. So psychology, so she's coming from that point of view a little bit. And she's known Victoria, almost most of her life. And then you had Phyllis, who's a strong woman who, a little crazy on herself too, saying things that people would just say. They said not trying to be mean or anything, but they would say things thinking, well, I wouldn't let this happen. Because there are folks who think this could never happen to me. And I think Young And The Restless want to let you guys know, and I want to say it to you right into the camera, you never know.
Yeah, you don't, because here's the thing. People can be charmers when you first meet them. People do exactly like what JT did, where they act sweet and loving. They're not going to be abusive at first. They're going to be the best boyfriend or girlfriend ever, or best significant other ever. And then, wham, they're going to change on you slowly and gradually, and then you don't know. And then you're already in a position where you love the person. So it's exactly like that. You don't know.
Demo says Phyllis was insensitive. And in some ways she was, but I think it didn't come from a place of like she was being mean to her.
Yeah.
It's like she wasn't understanding. Like you just said, she wasn't understanding. She'd never been through it before. She wasn't understanding. And we know the character of Phyllis, who was played by my friend Michelle Stafford, and with oh my God, you know her name, Gia Tognoni. The character of Phyllis is a kind of wild card character.
Yeah.
She's done things that were not great. And so, so for her, she can't imagine this happening.
Yeah.
A man did this to her. She always, I almost said ran over, which is a reference to Christina and Paul years ago. But she always was kind of the dominant one in her relationships with men.
Yeah.
So she doesn't get it. So I think it was kind of interesting for her to say that. It made sense to me that she would say that.
Yeah.
But they shut her down and said, well, you don't really know how you would feel when you go through it.
Sharon was amazing. Sharon, okay, here's the thing. Like I feel like Sharon did as much as she could do, considering she wasn't even friends with Victoria. No. She went above and beyond through this party for her.
Yeah, I know.
Kudos to Sharon for doing this, because it was because of that all these women came together and finally were discussing this. And Sharon, like when Phyllis started to say all that, Sharon spoke up. She was like, no, you don't know. You don't know what it's like. And it was really amazing to have that voice of reason there, especially because you could see in Victoria's face how hard it was for her. She didn't even want to talk about it. She was just like, oh, JT and I broke up, not a big deal. And then just finally, like, I feel like Sharon helped her by being there and being that voice that was that comforting,
Yeah, it was, like she said, like Victoria said, I've been telling a lot of half-truths. She goes, never mind. I've been telling lies.
Yeah.
I need to come clean. And I'm glad that she just spilled her guts, so to speak. And I liked the pacing of it. I liked she spoke slowly. She spoke just honestly. Yeah. They listened. They said a few things here and there. But it really was Amelia Henley's just her chance to shine as an actress with this material. And I just hope it helps people out there who are watching it. It was to get help and actually speak to their girlfriends. You want to speak to any guy, you have girlfriends. That's what girlfriends are here for. Maybe they'll speak to them. Yeah,
exactly. And that's like another thing is that one of the things I want to point out about JT, he not only with her but with Mac. He had Mac push away her friends.
Yes.
And that's like another thing that was really hard to watch, was that Victoria was pushing people away in a sense, and finally she's letting them in, and it's just, it's really hard when someone like that isolates you and you have no one. And so the fact that Victoria made this decision to cut him out and to move on with her life and live a healthier life and try. I loved that scene between her and Nikki, where Nikki said, first of all, Nikki saying, I'm your mother. He will never touch you again. Okay. Forget Victor.
Okay. Okay.
I was like, that's hilarious coming from Nikki. Mm-hmm. But then she was like, I actually wrote down the speech that she gave because it was so touching.
Okay.
She said, so Victoria says, do you think I can find the good in JT again? Should I try to find him? Nikki goes, I'm an alcoholic. That's my darkness. That's a battle I fight every single day. But JT, he can't fight his darkness. He's willing to be cruel and abusive, and you can't fight that battle for him. All you can do is walk away. This will not define you. Someday your soul will be free and light. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but you will be happy again. And I thought that was, to have someone say that to Victoria just reinforces the positive decision she's already made.
And also, we all have our own demons, so that's kind of like, she was like sharing, I have my stuff too.
Yeah.
And I'm dealing with it. And that's sometimes that helps you put things in perspective. You're like, oh, okay, so if she can do it, possibly I could do it too.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes even in this weird, crazy world, you feel alone when you're going through it. I'm the only person on earth going through this. Well, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And maybe even your intelligent side would say, I know that. But when you're going through it, it's your whole world.
Yeah, exactly.
It overclouds everything.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that it's with anything, sometimes you just don't know, like if you're in an abusive relationship, if you're drinking heavily, sometimes you don't know when you are in over your head and you need help. And it's just, when you're isolated like that and you have nowhere to turn, yet you just don't know when it's been too much and you need to seek some kind of help. But even Victoria, she sought help, but it wasn't helping the way she needed it to. It helped enough. Yeah. But not as much as confiding in the people that love her.
Yeah. So it's just I love that scene too, and and also on the flip side of that, before JT came to the house, his scene with Kane. Was interesting.
It was horrible. Poor Kane.
Oh, well, Kane doesn't know what's going on. I mean, when he went out, he said, you hear some things about me, possibly. He's like, what? He's like, wait. I mean, they had a friend. They did have a friendship, kind of, and it's kind of. And from the male perspective, we don't talk like that. We don't talk like women talk. A lot of times we have a different language and kind of different kind of friendships. So it's interesting that he just kind of, it was selfishly talking about himself in a situation and painting Victoria as the one doing all this weird stuff. It's like, no, it's you.
Yeah.
But that was but then again, that was again a realistic side to the story.
Yeah.
That's how he would talk to Kane.
But the whole thing is, it made me so angry because he was lying to him.
Yeah, it should.
And that just, of course, he's not going to tell the truth.
Right.
When does JT ever tell the truth? He couldn't even tell the truth to Tracy when he said there are things like back at the Walnut Grove reunion.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was about to tell her something about himself, but a guy like that, it's hard to say whether he believes like his own lies or not. But he's just not, like, until he can learn to really look deep inside and realize the problems that he has. It almost feels like, I don't know where they stem from. At one point when he first started coming back onto the show, they showed that like a flashback to when JT had his heart messed with from the electricity, and then he was going to the hospital, and they never really did anything with that storyline. And then they showed him taking medication, so it almost seems like, okay, well, that's what they were alluding to, that the medication was making him act like this. Not that
excuses anything.
No, not at all.
But soaps will do that. Trust me. On General Hospital, it was a tumor. They had one guy, they removed the tumor, and now he's better. So that's a whole other story. So I'm like...
Problem solved.
Soaps do this stuff all... We have to remind ourselves, these are soaps. They do stuff like this all the time. A little shade, sorry. But so that's possible. Maybe they're going to try to allude to... But, well, actually, we're going to talk about what's happening next. They won't have to worry about that, I don't think.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, too, is that, okay, so... JT comes to the house twice.
Yes.
Well, I guess one time.
Well, he came first.
He came first.
She stopped him.
But then I guess he never left because then he said he came in through the roof.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, because like all of a sudden he was there. I was like, well, you stood there, you're upset.
It was so creepy too.
Yeah.
She's in the mirror. All of a sudden, JT.
Oh my God! I was like, okay, so I guess he went. He said the roof through the garage.
Yeah.
So he must have went on back. He was there.
Yeah. I mean, I can believe it considering what he does. So
yeah, that's true.
Found
that's
a way,
true. He found a way.
So he's there, and it kind of starts off where at first he's trying to win her back.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it goes from that to it becomes very obvious she's not going to take him back. And then he starts turning back into the asshole, excuse my language, but pretty much goes right from sweet to, jerk.
This selfish bitch or whatever he called her. It's like, wow, okay, that's what they do. When they don't get their way, it's back to calling you names. It's back to treating you bad. And I was like, I'm like, get out of there, girl. Get out of there, girl. He's like, but she was strong. She was in his face.
Yeah, she was.
I mean, I said he's tall, and she's not that tall. So she was like, her fingers pointed out, and she was like calling him out on stuff. And so it was a go girl moment for us. Like, you go girl, like work that out. Yeah. But I was like, get out of there, girl. Like, you need to go.
I thought he was gonna. I mean, what ended up happening, I thought it was gonna be worse. I thought he was gonna take a gun or take something.
He smacked her around though. He smacked her a little bit.
Oh yeah, he like slapped her.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, it was horrible.
And that's hard to watch, of course.
Yeah, it was.
But it was realistic, of course. That's what he did. He went because she was grabbing at him. He wouldn't let her leave, and so they smacked her, and then they started tussling. It was like, oh my goodness.
My question is, did JT not realize that they were going to make that much noise and that he knew that she was there with people?
Well, she got him to admit, we won't skip this part, that because she put it together. I was like, smart girl about Victor.
Yeah.
That he's the one who, so his life is basically over. I mean, it is basically over.
I'm surprised that he even admitted it.
He finally admitted it.
Yeah.
I think his ego and his problem is like, okay, yeah, I did it. But for us, because he kept saying, he's going to destroy you. He's bad for you. He's bad for you. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This is her father. You're not going to win.
Exactly. And just the fact that all of it.
Yeah.
All of it, just all the lies. And if he's lying to her, my thing is I question him as a character now because if he's lying, what else is he lying about?
Who knows?
Because, who knows? Because we've seen him kind of lurking around doing things, but we've never seen him having like an internal monologue. Nope. So we don't know the truth with him. Nope. He could be lying about every single thing.
Nope. Yes. So that guy came out. So then if they're fighting, the ladies are downstairs. Hello, and they hear it. When they started, let's get up there. They're like, we're gonna go upstairs. That was so funny. Well, and they run upstairs.
And then the whole thing, Nikki. I'll
do it, girl. Do it, girl.
Okay, so when we get to our law moment.
Yes.
All right, let's hit the law moment.
Really let's do it right now. Let's do it right now.
Yes. Law moment.
Do it.
I love that.
I do.
All right, so I didn't think I was going to have a law moment for this. Mariah with her tipsiness, that was the closest, but it wasn't worthy. Like, I didn't really laugh. It was just more comical.
Yeah.
when Nikki walked toward JT with the fire poker and did it casually and then wham, and we didn't even see it, I started laughing.
Yes. I was like, wow, you go, girl.
Yeah.
And she whacked him hard, too. I was like, and it's funny, and I kind of LOL'd a little bit because I saw the way they looked at her like, wow, okay, Nikki. He kind of just dropped. And Lady's like, oh. The face was like, oh. It was just like, and they pull back and she just drops the poker.
And he's just there.
He's just there.
Well, and the thing is, when they were showing the previews, it wasn't even for next week. It was like they were previewing for this episode.
Oh,
and
okay.
on CBS, when they previewed it, they showed that week's episode in clips. So you kind of got an idea what was going to happen.
Okay.
Then you saw, I think it was Nikki with Phyllis, with Victoria, and Sharon with a shovel.
Yes.
Digging dirt into a grave.
Oh my God! I didn't see that. That's so
no,
wow.
Yeah. So CBS showed the spoiler, so don't blame me.
Yeah, don't blame her. CBS has shown it.
CBS showed it.
So yeah, so that's gonna be interesting to see. This story is taking a darker turn.
Yeah.
Very interesting to see where it goes on with this one.
Well, okay, so I guess we're getting to a point where we can start to talk about predictions.
Okay, yes.
So my first prediction.
Oh, forget this.
Oh yeah.
Remember, I forgot these.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
prediction. I always do that. I like doing that. I've done it a long time. Yes.
So I don't know that he's gonna die.
Well,
I think they're gonna bury him alive, and he's gonna.
Well, it's been done before on soaps. It's been done before.
And he's gonna come back looking all, I don't know.
If they really killed him, that's a shocking. That's a twist I didn't see coming. I really didn't see that coming. They would kill JT. So if he is exactly. I was like, wow. If they really do that and follow through with that, part of me thinks he's not really dead. They just hit him over the head. I mean,
Yeah.
they
could use it in self-defense, though.
Right.
He was attacking her.
So they're gonna do this whole thing where the girls come together. Like The Craft or something, they all have spells. Anyway, so that's the story. I was gonna say, but no, but my prediction with this storyline is that I kind of agree that maybe he's not really dead, and maybe they're gonna trap him somewhere. Maybe they're faking his death, like maybe it's a fan and fake out. And like, yeah, he's been buried. We're burying him here, or maybe they're burying evidence, or who knows what they're doing. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. I don't really gonna kill him now. I mean, I don't know.
Here's another thought too. You know how a couple weeks ago Hillary was imagining different men with her baby? What if someone was what if we go to next week and it's one of the characters imagining this happening?
Oh wow!
And it's just they showed it in the preview just because it was someone's imagination.
Well, I'm gonna predict, and I'll have to watch the show while I'm not on here. I'm gonna predict that that Hillary's not gonna be baby by Devon.
Yeah.
It's gonna be by somebody else. I don't know. I almost want to say Kyle. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna say it's with somebody else.
Yeah.
I think it's just too much trying to get it with Devon. There's a lot of history and Neil. And so I think it's gonna happen.
Or maybe she'll sleep with Kyle and then she'll get pregnant, like we were saying earlier, and then she won't know who the baby's father is.
Okay, I can see that. No, I can see that. That's soap. So I can see that. Yes, I can see that.
For me, I think that obviously Jack's gonna get out of jail now.
Oh yes.
And there's gonna be this huge blow up with Kyle, and that Ashley's gonna become friendly again with Jack. In order to take down Kyle, they're going to pull up the Blood Abbott clause. I want to find out who the Blood Abbott is too.
Yes.
Or not who the. I want to find who the father is.
Yes.
Yeah. If maybe that 1% chance that the test is wrong too.
There's that too.
Yeah.
I think my prediction is going to be that's going to be a very big dramatic boardroom scene, and the Abbott is going to come out for Jack. It's going to come out.
Yeah.
He's gonna be shocked. He's not gonna believe it at first. If Jack's gonna fight, he's not gonna believe it at first. He's not gonna really believe it.
So then either Billy or Tracy end up with the company, and Billy doesn't really want it.
He doesn't really want it, but he quit Chancellor. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. Maybe Billy will change his mind.
Yeah, maybe if he has to step up and do it. Yeah.
But there's no other Abbotts. I'm telling you, there's no other. I mean, all the other ones are too young. I mean, like there's no other Abbotts really. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, why don't we go ahead and real quickly, I'm going to give a shout out to some people in the chat that are
they're here. And it's so nice to me, you guys. So nice to go ahead and give a shout out.
And we have a lot of people saying welcome, James. So that's awesome. Yes. We have Tiffany. We have Ice Woman 1887, Hubby Joe, Demo, Simone. We have Nakisha Jones. We have
Andre Lawrence,
Miss Bubbles.
Bubbles, yes. Taylor Jones, my girl. Hi, Taylor. I know you.
And
Andrew Balog, is that name? Oh, and your Clee Zanvers X?
Oh yeah, that's Tiffany, yeah.
And Rodelli. I love Rodelli. Hi Rodelli. I know you.
Amy Caraluzzo.
Very good.
Brittany. Oh, sorry. Brittany Duran.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining. I think that about wraps up this week.
Yeah.
James, where can everyone find you?
Okay, so stay tuned. I'm going to go on GH Report also. This is my big surprise weekend. So I'll be on GH Report next. You can find me where all James Lott Jr.'s are, and that's at James Lott Jr. And buy my book. It's called 6 Equals 1. It's out on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle or regular. And my new CD with Chog called the 5-Song EP.
Awesome. Thanks, James.
Thank you.
And I'm Rachel Goodman. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Rach Goodman or on Facebook at Rachel Ann Goodman. Also, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and go over to Facebook. We have an @Restless Rap page where you can like and follow. I always post the link to the show. And if you write comments, I will read the comments. Thank you, everyone, for joining this crazy week. As always, we will see you next week on Sunday.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.